Natalie, this has always been one of my favorite questions. And I'll tell you a little story really quick. When I was younger, my grandfather, my grandmother, my mom, they're all from Kiev and they had an accent, whatever. And when I was 5, he used to take me for walks in the park. And one day I asked them, because he talked to everybody, and I called him Zeta. I said, Zeta, how do you know all these people? And he said, I didn't know any of them. One day I smiled at one, and he actually smiled back at me. And then he started talking to me. So I talked to him. And then another person, same thing with the smile, and on and on and on. And I got it as a 5-year-old, but I got it even more later about the influence both ways that they were having on each other. So share with us like 2 or 3 people you know, people you don't know, whatnot, that have been influencers in your life.
Okay. I'll definitely name my mom. As I said, she's the master of reinvention and had to be out of necessity. But doing it while also raising 5 kids as a single mom and more, it was just really extraordinary. She's really a pillar of strength. And I'm so blessed that we're close, and now I live closer to her and more. So that huge influence on my life. Another influence, this is kind of a curveball, but I would say the patriarchy is a big influence. Not a person,
That's cool.
it's a system, right? But like, where does my ferocity come from? Well, our deepest passions often spring from our deepest wounds. And so, growing up in a culture and more that was, I ingested a lot of messages about my worth as a girl early on. And then as I came into more and more resources and more ability to affect change and be involved in organizations like Women's Foundation in Colorado, and then many, many more since then, I also realized that the patriarchy is absolutely violent against men and boys as well. And so we need men in the conversation. You guys hold up the other half of the sky. And so it's been a big influencer, because I don't think I've had this level of passion and ferocity for change and equality without having experienced the suffering that goes along with systemic oppression. So, and what's another influencer?
Well, on that point before, influencers, sometimes people forget that we have choices to be positive or negative influencers. And the good news is you took that negative and made it into a positive type of thing, which is important, because there are people that are negative influencers too. So
yeah, well, it's that or hide under the bed. So I'm not the hide under the bed type.
with your dog.
Yeah. So what else? Some of my artist friends, one of the things, I guess, someone asked me my biggest fear not too long ago. And I was like, my biggest fear is dropping the body and without having lived a fully expressed life. And some of my artist friends, like they really are living so fully in artistic expression, in community, and so much more. And I think that really emboldened me to make the leap to art, which famously doesn't pay well, sadly, and is nonprofit. So I had the double whammy. So thank you, corporate career. So yeah, just anyone living a fully expressed life on their own terms absolutely inspires me.
Yeah,
and I hope that can be an inspiration to others as I shed the layers and layers of my somebody training. So on the concurrent journey of just evolution, while I'm working to evolve the world and humanity.
Well, it's working. You're doing a great job. And thanks for bringing the energy, and thanks for bringing, those are unique influencers. And I think there's a lot to be learned from what you said there, and then how you evolved from them, and how you've done so. Thanks for sharing all that. Really good stuff.
My pleasure.